All right, all right. I hope you guys are doing great. It is 6:30. Let's get this Krizakalakalin. We have a whopping group of people in class. What's up? I'm glad you guys are doing good. Let's talk about a couple things. I did have a class this weekend, and I had a student that was really struggling with the concept of water rights and how someone could have stock in a mutual water company. So I really wanted to jump in on that first. Let's unshare the screen. I'll reshare another screen. Unless there is something that you would like to jump in on with regards to a question or concern that you have, feel free to drop it in chat and we'll add that to the mix. And let me put this in chat as well so that it's in chat. And I also will have this copied in the recording so that you have the PowerPoint I'm working off of. And let's share the screen. Cool, cool, cool. All right, here we go. I really honestly didn't think about water rights as being something that was a struggle to understand. And then the student did a really good job of saying, but why? And I was like, oh, that's a really good question. And for those of you out there that are like, you mean you actually listen to what the students have to say? I try. It doesn't always work, but I mean, there was like a massive discussion this weekend, and I was like, crap, dude, we really need to focus on this. And I basically said in that class, we have to shelf it. We also were talking about fee simple subject to condition subsequent, and why in the 80s, 1980s, it was changed to and basically what that means is it's less, you don't have a fee simple ownership interest in a property, you have fee simple subject to condition subsequent. So if your family were to gift a piece of property to the city for a library, and it's gifted with the understanding that that land must always have a library on it, then that would be that it would then title would be transferred as fee simple subject to condition subsequent, meaning that the city can't just sell the property, they can't just have anything on the property. It literally has to have a library on it. So we can kind of talk about that as well if there's time for that, but we're going to jump into this. So principles course and the state exam prep session, we're going to be talking about water rights and stuff, because Kathy, it's always making it as it's and the stuff, because we'll talk a little bit about water rights, and then if there's other things you guys want to talk about. I did receive a number of emails asking if we were having our Q&A this afternoon or this evening, and I said yes. And we actually had made plans, and I was like, I've got students emailing me. I won't cancel on anybody. We're going to be here. And so for those of you that couldn't make it, I appreciate you being part of the replay crew. But let's talk about water rights and stuff. So we're going to skip past water rights. We're going to circle about, but really there was appurtenance concerns. There's two types of appurtenances. There's an easement, and then there's the stock rights in mutual water. This property that we own here has an easement through the center of it because we have a neighbor above us that is landlocked, meaning there is no other road for them to take. And even though the Jetsons were a futuristic cartoon that was supposed to be in 2023, here in 2023, we are not all in floating devices or air vehicles at this time. So people are still using the road. And even if the road wasn't there, there most likely would be an easement in our airspace, right? So anyway, that being said, actually, well, we'll get to airspace rights as time progresses as well. But anyway, when we talk about easements, most people think of the easement that goes through a piece of property, and it's easy for me to talk about it because this piece of land has that, or easements like the electrical company, the water company, the gas company. And if you have one company that's your local city or county company that does all of those things, great. But if you don't, that means each one of those companies actually has an easement on your property. You could also look at a public easement like a driveway, like a sidewalk, excuse me. across the front of your property, and you can't park in that part of your driveway because that part of your driveway is part of the public easement. And I know people that get tickets, especially not my direct neighbors, but when I take the dog for a walk in the morning, there's always one car that's kind of cattywampus across their drive. And it seems like, I don't know when the parking people get there, but it is kind of an interesting thing when the parking ticketing people seem to, I don't know if they come at like 3 in the morning or if they're there at 5 a.m. or what the situation is, but it's almost a guarantee on this street that whoever the parking people are, if they have to get a particular amount of tickets per day, they can do it all day, every day, up and down this street. Anyway, that being said, easements, different types of easements out there, but I want to talk to you guys about stock in mutual water companies. And when we have stock in mutual water companies, and when I say we, I mean the proverbial we versus like Adam and I, we don't, we are part of the city water and sewer system. But when you hear about mutual water companies in real estate, basically your client is looking potentially to buy a piece of property that has there's no city or county water or sewer. And so that particular lot would need to have a well. And sometimes in the county, what they do is they don't allow every piece of land to have a well on it, but they'll allow a group of properties that are connected. So let's talk about that, okay? Let's look at the information we have here. Water company issues. So when a property in the county, usually not the city, does not have a well and or can't get a permit to put a well in, but they can be part of their neighbor's well. Their neighbor has a well that's deep enough that can supplement 3 to 5 other pieces of property, or a total of 3 or a total of 2. They will have created what's known as a water company, and it issues stock to the owners of the lots of the water company in that servicing area. So when we talk about servicing area, we're literally talking about just a few properties, right? So the shares are appurtenant to the land. What does appurtenant mean, Kathy? Well, that means that those houses that are connected to that water company in that county are they're all, once you sell that home, that stock in that water company stays with that property. The shareholders don't only pay for the water, but and the use of it, but they have to pay for maintenance and all that other stuff. So I have a few different articles here, 1, 2, 3. What I'm going to do is put in chat the PowerPoint. I already put it in chat once, but I'm going to put it in again. The PowerPoint that I'm going off of, so you guys can follow it, so you can pull these articles. I'm not going to pull the articles, but there is information about how stock in mutual companies, mutual water companies, or what mutual water companies are. Mutual water companies are one of those strange experiences. My brother used to live near the exit to the Monterey Peninsula in Monterey, California, and he lived in a very rural area. And in that rural area that he lived in, he had stock in a mutual water company. And the reason he had stock in a mutual water company is because they were in a more rural area. There was no city or septic or sewer. They were right off the 101, but it was a very rural. So if you look at the Prune, they used to call it Prune-tucky. I don't know what they call it now, but like Prunedale, Aromas, California area, that part of right off of the 101, going south towards Salinas, but it's north of Salinas, not necessarily south, but instead of taking Monterey, if you keep going on 101, you're going to drive right through Salinas. So in that area, any of those more rural areas where you see a lot of land in between each of those homes, you're going to find that those areas have these mutual water companies, okay? And it's basically, so let's look at a couple examples here. This is an example that I just Googled and I found. So in this particular area, you could say the Huntington Park is color different than Maywood area. And these two areas specifically would be on city sewer and septic. This would not be a situation where there would be a mutual water company. It's still called Prune-tucky around these parts. Look, I'm telling you right now, like that's awesome. I'm glad. I'm still cold. I'm telling you, there are parts of California you'll drive through and you're like, do they know what year it is? Because it feels very 20 years behind the time. Anyway, I was in the Aromas area and for a moment, and I probably left a mark. I hope everything's okay there. But anyway, my brother actually owned a property. What his property was that he owned years ago was in Prunedale, but it was right near the 101, and it was right before they put a lot of the overpasses and the extensions in. And so getting off the road to get to his house and then getting back on the 101 was definitely one of those moments where you're kind of playing, what was that old school Atari game with the toad? Frogger. You're kind of doing that Frogger kind of a thing. And even though the speed was only 55, nobody, uh, as Sammy Hagar would sing, I can't drive 55, nobody did. So anyway, that being said, as an example, let's say water and sewer is in the city limits. So this is an example of servicing area. You could say that Maywood is servicing, now I don't know what the difference between Maywood and Huntington Park is, I'm not that worried, but you could say that Maywood is servicing all the properties in the green boxes, and Huntington Park is servicing all of the properties in the blue area. Okay, so this is like your standard run-of-the-mill water and sewer mapping kind of a thing where you know that you're connected to the city sewer, the city water, all of those things, right? But if you were to look at maybe a rural piece of property here, and you could say, based on this example, that the city, and this actually is a picture of the South Bay Silicon Valley. Now, the color here, any of the area that's colored white, this is the city outline of this little city. Okay, anything that's green, that is the agricultural or the non-city, the county area. And notice these areas that I have circled. Let's say this county requires 3 properties for every 1 well. They will not allow, if they've already given a permit out to the person that owns this property, they're not going to give out a permit to either of these people because these homes are the closest. Now, you could even say, well, this house is, but technically this house is in the city lines. And the same goes for this, and the same goes for this. Now, part of the reason you'll notice I didn't circle anything over here is I was trying to be reminiscent of how city or the building and safety department works when it comes to any of this stuff, when it's water. They try not to put lines under roads. They try to keep everything, centralized. They try to keep things on particular sides. So if there was a well on this side, it would most likely be these 3, and or it might be these 4 or 5 or whatever. But when we talk about stock and mutual water companies, this is what I'm sharing with you. This is what we're trying to bring in to the class that makes it feel less clinical and more understood. Most people that take these real estate classes are taking these real estate classes and they have never experienced anything other than suburbia. They've only been in a big town or they've only been in a small town, but either way, they haven't really been in rural areas themselves, living in a rural area. A large percentage of the students that I have either have always lived in an apartment, or they've always lived in their parents' home, or those kind of things. So these aren't conversations that we share. The student that was concerned about how mutual water companies work, technically speaking, these are also mutual water companies in the same way DWP, that is who we have for our water and electricity. That's technically a mutual water company. And what I mean by that is we may not have stock in that company, but if we don't pay our bill, our house is connected to that water company in the same way a well between three houses would be. The thing is, the reason why they call it a mutual water company is it's mutually agreeable between these 3 people, that based on the size of their home and based on the well and the amount of water that's allowed to each one of them, that there's going to be a cost of maintenance and all those things. But who's to say we're not already doing that? We are, even if you live in the city. It's just that it's on a smaller scale. And so I wanted to be able to clarify and differentiate from what a mutual water company is to your standard run-of-the-mill city water and sewer. Does anyone have any questions about that? We can keep going with water rights, but that was really the lion's share of what I wanted to give you guys. Now, I did have a number of students message me saying that they had questions about some of the studying and the reading they were doing. Is there anything in particular that we can build upon from here other than talking about water that will help you in your at your level of experience or your level of understanding at this time? Sorry, I don't have, let me check this computer to see if I received any additional emails other than I just want to come in class and I'll ask when I'm in there. I'm like, okay, you don't have to take the mic. You can keep the mic muted and you can send private messages as well. You don't have to, it's completely however you guys want to experience. Hold on just a moment. Oh, let me, the link to the meeting. Okay. Give me just a moment, you guys.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good. I just I tried
Oh,
to
you
get
are
in.
here. I did.
I'm here.
I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, I can. Let me see. Yeah. I thought I sent you the meeting ID and I was like, what did I not send? I didn't send the link. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just
Let me
I'm
take
so
this off
sorry I
screen.
came in late to the
I'm no worry.
Zoom. I was gonna ask about the mutual water system. So what I understood is that it's like the areas that cannot reach the water from the county. So basically, the community they try to reach to like making a group, and under a well they allowed to reach like or share amount specific amount from the usage of the water from the company. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah,
is that right?
absolutely. That's absolutely right. Let me open that back up because I feel, where did I put it? Kathy lost the screen. There it is. Okay, let me go back. So let me use let me use a different example. This might help a little bit better. Let's go into Google Maps. Because part of the hiccup with being able to see, let's see, I can do that same area. Let's see if I can do different. Well, actually, this is cool. Okay. Now, this is your standard run-of-the-mill Google Maps, right? I just put in Google Maps. Chances are this is really close to where I live. And so that's why it just dropped us in here, right? But see where these green areas are?
Um,
Oh, wait, am I not sharing the screen? I'm so sorry. Hold on just a second.
it's fine, it's okay.
Leave Kathy to not sharing the screen. That's totally the way I roll. Sorry. Can you not see my screen? No, Kathy, we see your face. We
It's okay.
see your face. It is what it is. Okay.
Okay.
So when we're looking at mapping, this is a little hypothetical but realistic all at the same time. You'll notice that anywhere on the map that it's green, there's a strong chance well not in, those are usually known as, they're usually hilly areas, but they're also known as like county islands or parts of the city that have been brought into the city, if that makes any sense. And what I mean by that is they're run by the county because they don't have city septic and city sewer. So other parts of the other parts that you're going to see, like especially larger parts of LA, but like this is Dodger Stadium. Of course, that's not going to have cities. Well, it better have some city stuff. So that's not going to be the best example. But you'll notice like the areas that have a lot more density. There's lots of lines. Anywhere you see a street, chances are one side of the street has your fresh water, the other side of the street has the opposite kind of water, right? The gray water or whatever. But in these areas where they're now, it is possible that Dodger Stadium does not have city sewer and water. It has city sewer and septic. It might have its own water processing center, but usually in the greener parts that you see in the map, those are associated with county. Those are also associated with areas that would be outside the city limits with regards to water, or the different types of water that are coming or going. And so you would have somebody that has septic, or you'd have somebody that has their own personal septic, their own personal well. And there's other areas too, like people, all the infamous people live. That's WeHo. So in these areas as well, you'll see a large community of people. Chances are the majority of the people that live in this, even though it's Santa Monica Mountains in the National Reserve or a recreation area, a lot of these people, because they're not in the city limits, they're going to be dealing with a different set of rules and regulations. So they're not going to the city to get a permit to work on the property. They're going to the county to get the same type of permits. And a lot of times the city and the county offices are like right across, their doors are right across from each other in downtown LA, or they're in, there's other city, Santa Clarita has some of the city offices, just depends on where you are. But anything you see that's green usually separates you, and it puts you outside the city limits. It puts you in county areas, or what's called county islands. And the moment you become part of the county island, or the moment you see a property that's in the county island, you're going to be set to a different set. You're going to be given a different set of rules. And so when we talk about these mutual water, the stock in mutual water, it depends on what your county has involved. So as an example, let's say you want to live near Topanga State Park. Well, in this area, as an example, this is hypothetical, they might require that if you live within a mile radius of another neighbor, that if that neighbor that neighbor's well is already dug, that neighbor's well should be able to supplement 2 more homes, depending upon how deep the well was dug. Or there could be a requirement that there's no well within a mile radius of you, and they go, okay, well, we're going to have you dig this well. And you're like, I don't need that much water. And they're like, no, 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 it's not for you. That water is so that if someone buys the lots next to you, that you will now be creating what's called a mutual water company. And we're putting a requirement in the county that we do not allow more than one lot for or excuse me, more than one well for every 3 to 5 lots, or for every within within a mile radius, whatever the calculation of acreage that would be. And so that's where this stock and mutual water company comes from, because instead of you going to the city to pay your bill, you're basically part of a mutual understanding of that water company within you and your neighbors. And so you guys aren't just paying for the upkeep and the cost of the water, because the cost of the water that you use is going to pay to keep the upkeep and the maintenance on that well, and any concerns that would come up. That's something split between the 3 of you, if there's 3 properties that are connected to that well. In the same way, because it's just a smaller version of what the city does, right? Because all of your houses are going to have lines, water lines, connected directly to that well that go to your house. In the same way, if you lived in a suburban neighborhood, all the pipes and everything would be put in to tap into the local city, and then the city has a bill that says you're allowed this many gallons. And the same thing goes for your neighbor's well. It's going to say you're allowed this many gallons. And if you, as an example, decide to put in an infinity pool, you would have to probably truck in water, because the amount of water it would take to fill the pool might empty the well. So there are some counterbalances to these kind of things. In the same way, the city, if you're going to put a pool in your backyard and you live in the city, you probably, not probably, you have to call the city and say, hey, we put a pool in. And then they may say, yeah, you can just, like, we're going to charge you a premium, or you can just truck in the water to fill the pool. So the maintenance on a well for stock, for mutual stock, is associated with obviously a small group of people, but they call it mutual because it's mutually beneficial for each person to pay, just like you would the city, because the cost of the water and everything associated with it is going to help maintain the well that the proverbial you, has amongst the 3. Let me go back to this image, might be a little bit more helpful. Again, noticing that like the image that I just showed you, everything within the white lines or within the white area, that's the city limit. And anything in green is the county. And so you can see that the county would already have, this is my version of just like dropping in circles and arrows. But the city office or the county office, it would be county, would already have mapped out already have a map for the area, and then they would have it structurally set up where it's like, okay, these three properties have to be, they'll have their own water company, these three, these three, and these three. Now, of course, it's going to be a lot cleaner than this. This is my example of just throwing something together for class today. But if the county did require for three or more properties to be to be required, and what I mean by that is, let's say this property was given the permit to put the well in, these other two properties are having to pay for this the maintenance on this well. And when they are given this well or this opportunity for this well, the well would be far deeper and produce far more water than this one house would need. And that's what I mean by the county office would say, sure, you guys can put in a well. And then you're like, okay, well, it's just a 4-bedroom house. And they're like, oh, no. You're going to need to, based on the fact that in this area there's no other wells within a mile radius, you're going to need to put in a well that will supplement a 12-bedroom house or 3 houses, and each of those houses being a minimum of 4. So then if these 2 houses have yet to be built, but these lots have been purchased, they would when they go to buy, they would be told by the county, in order to build in this area, the minimum square footage, there would be all of these stipulations within that neighborhood that you cannot exceed, it cannot exceed a 4-bedroom house or whatever, based on the fact that there's a mutual water company there, and what that the supplemental cost incurred would be. Or they would say, now you're going to have to pay to have the well dug deeper because of the size of the home that you want. We won't give you a permit for a well, but we've already given a one for this area. And if you're going to build a house that much larger, this well is going to have to be dug deeper or something along those lines. That's the kind of red tape that goes along with this process. I guess the way I had originally understood this was that you bought the land with reserved water to you, and you uh, were being compensated for use of the water by a water company. I guess I saw stock as profiting and not having to pay for it. No. Oh, Adam, see, that's part of the reason why that's why Wednesday nights are good deep dives. So when we talk about stock in mutual water, what they're basically saying is you have a stock option, or you have an ownership in the company. You can't, there's as an example, if there's 3 families that have stock, that means they have the right to have that conversation. They have the right to, like, hey man, like, why is the bill so high for me and not so much for you? It has to be mutually beneficial. So it's a mutual water company, in that not only are the only people that can use that water are the people connected. So if you look at as in this example, the only people that would be able to use the water from that well would be the 3 properties connected to that. And they call it a mutual water company because not only is it mutually beneficial, but it's mutually understood that everyone's paying the same amount per gallon. Everyone's paying for maintenance. And so the stock means that you have the right to go, hey, why are the prices higher? Or why do we keep going back? What, the well keeps breaking? Why do we keep going back to the company that can't seem to fix it? And so there's this understanding. So you have a right to say something because you are a partial owner. But in that same respect, it's a stock in that mutual water company, in that if you owned this property and sold it and moved away, you don't keep the stock in that. That's why it's an appurtenance. It stays with the property. And as you can see, as an example, these 3 houses, if the city decides to extend the city water and sewer to this property or to this area here, and then they close this off and now it becomes part of the city, then they will no longer have the need for the well, and they will be connected to the city sewer or septic. Not city or sewer or septic, it's a city city sewer and it's the fresh water. But part of the reason we're talking about this is if you in California has a lot of rural area, we have a lot of property in the state of California, but there are parts like Francisco was talking about with Prune Ducky, right? There's parts that are so rural that this is something that is happening right now. In the same way, I think I've shared it in class where Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis have a well on their property and they live as close to off the grid as they possibly can. They have solar and different things like that where they're not trying to pull from the resources of the city, and they happen to be able to have a well not only dug on their property, but there was water found, so they aren't tapping into it into the city stuff. But the reality of the situation is they probably live in one of the green areas on the west side of WeHo, so we're in an area where you can dig a well, but not everybody can dig a well when you live in the center of Los Angeles or you live in the center of San Francisco, South San Francisco, Santa Clara, but you might be able to in Fresno, you might be able to in Merced, Raisin City. I'm trying to think of some other little big towns. So this information hopefully will help grow our understanding that the mutual water company would be associated. If you have a client that wants to buy in a rural area or they want to buy an agricultural property, that agricultural property might be connected to a mutual water company to supplement for the orchards, or they might have some type of relationship. It's not really about their house. Their house has a well and it's their own well, but in order to get enough water supplied from the Colorado River, right? Because we get a lot of our water from Colorado and other areas and different reservoirs, there could be a mutual water company associated with that, which is a little bit of a deeper dive. Let me see what the chat says. Where I live, we have canals and ditches for miles. That's how all of our county water is diverted. Absolutely. And that's a perfect example, especially the imagery we have. I think I have a couple. Yeah. Oops. Hold on a second. Where the water is being diverted, right? So it's still surface water rights and that water is being diverted, but you might find that depending upon how far away you are from these reservoirs or this area where the water is redirected, you might find that there are areas further out that have a different version of that exact same thing. But yes, absolutely. Looks like home. Just emptiness. Oh man. Well, I do try to use, just so you guys know, I really do try to use as many California images as I can. Some of the stuff I use is Florida, especially like the swampier stuff. But a lot of times the terminology, you're like, we don't have swampland here in California. It's like, okay, well, we can kind of use that information and try to like develop it. You have a shared well with your neighbor. Okay, good to know, Francisco. Is it just the two of you guys that have a shared well, or are there other neighbors as well? Do you mind sharing with the class what it is, the process with the well that you have? You don't have to. I'm not, no stress or no pressure. Oh, no, that's okay. Okay, so we're just going to go down this hypothetical lane with Francisco. Francisco shares a well with his neighbor. I would venture to say that you get a bill every month, or you might get a bill every 2 months. I think we get a water bill. I mean, we don't have a well. We're on city water and septic, but we get billed every 2 months, and it could be the same thing with yours. But once you sell that property, you lose the right to that stock. Right? It's a pertinent to the land. The well goes with the land. The opportunity to have that fresh water goes with the land. So you pay every 6 months. Okay, interesting. I'm trying to I would have to actually call my brother and ask him. It's been enough years now because it was anytime there's like something traumatic that happens in the industry. He owned the property before the crash of 2007, 2008. I think they sold in 2006. So anything before the crash is kind of a hazy thing when it comes to real estate. I don't know if you guys understand. In the same way, like the pandemic, it's like, okay, the pandemic was like a couple months. You're like, no, it was years, Kathy. But there's like this strange dynamic. So I've never really thought about asking him about that. But okay, so you pay every 6 months. Interesting. Now, I guess the other question I have for you. And I would, okay, so Francisco wrote it can be every month as well, but we just do it this way. We also have another yearly fee, and I would venture to say the other yearly fee is probably part of the maintenance fee where you guys have everything checked on an annual basis. If you have do you, not to get too deep in the woods, do you guys also have your own septic, or or are you city sewer? Because when you're city sewer, if it's brown and yellow, flush it down. You have your own septic. Okay, so in that same manner, if you and living in San Francisco, living in Francisco, I'm always sending you to South San Francisco. I don't know what it is, probably because of the name, and I do apologize. But if you have your own septic and you have your own well, and what I mean by that is Francisco is sharing the well with the neighbor, it's in everyone's best interest to have it maintained and have it checked. And so I would venture to say the annual cost on the well is to have it checked by a company to make sure that everything's working, because there's when it comes to the well, there's electrical, and it could also be the well could also be connected to natural gas, some type of fossil fuel or petroleum, where there's a gas container that's out there that needs to be refilled, and that's a different cost, right? And then when it comes to the septic system, instead of you being on city sewer, you have your own leach lines, and you have this hole in the ground that is processing all of the waste that's coming out of the house through whichever, whether it's the toilets or the sinks or whatever it is, because that's all gray water. The moment it goes into those exiting plumbing parts of the house, it would be going into one of these holding containment units. And you'll find that even whether it's your well or whether it's your septic, because you're not on city sewer or city water, somebody has to maintain that. It's not going to a plant somewhere in downtown LA, right? The septic is on your property, and because it is, that would need to be maintained, either checked, but usually it's like every 3 years you would have a company come in, and what they do is they actually pump it out and clear it of the stuff that's in there. And or you might even have to have somebody come and cleared the opening. This happened at my aunt's house, where some tree roots got in, and because of the fertile nature of the product that is in that water, plants will grow crazy, and it looked like a bunch of weeds, and it was actually the tree root system that was just, it looked like spaghetti across the top of it, and they had to cut that whole entire area out. When they pulled the root system off, it looked like they just pulled this huge, like, square, I don't even know what to call it, brush, the amount of roots and tiny roots that just kind of intermingled. It was living its best life, let's be honest. So all of that being said, do you guys, how are we feeling now with regards to a mutual water company? Mutual water company is a few people, right? Francisco's sharing with you, it's just him and his neighbor. So there's only two homes or two properties on that particular well. Now, if the city or the county goes, oh, hey, we need another person to be added to that, that other person might actually have to pay for that well to be dug deeper if it can afford to have a third house. And it's usually it's usually set up per room, just like the septic system. If it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, it's going to be a small septic system, because there's no expectation. There's a 3-person expectation that for the use of that, so that it wouldn't be something, that septic system is not going to be the same size as somebody that has a 12-bedroom home or the like. So how are we feeling with regards to mutual water companies and the difference between that and being on city water?
It's I understood more right now, like the concept of it. Yeah, so it's good. Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And you're not the only one that's asked about it. That's why I brought it up. Now it is 7:10. I do not want to keep you guys for more than an hour. Are there other areas of concerns that you guys would like us to discuss, and we can pull up that information, or are we feeling strong? For those of you that are working on the exam, passing the exam and prepping for the practice book, or you're in the econ class, or you're in the legal aspects class, or any of the students that are in the property management class. I'm trying to think of what are the classes I'm teaching right now. All of this information works together because it's about helping. Sorry, my mic's probably too close. It's about helping the clients know what they're getting into, right? So all of these questions that you guys have, or any of these deep dives we do, you're going to be experiencing something in this area to some level. Title versus deed. Whenever, maybe next time. Let's talk about the difference between title and deed. I like that. Let's try that. Let's add that to the PowerPoint today. Or let's create a new one. Hold on just a second. Let me make sure I don't already have a title and deed. Tax issues, real estate brokerages, case studies, agency easements. Okay. I like this explanation. This is not perfection, but let's discuss. I'm going to put it in chat. Okay, let me share the screen. Because that's what this class is mostly about, right? So title versus deed, what is the difference? So let's look at what Friedman Mortgage, they're not going to throw us too far off out of the woods. They're going to help it. They're going to give us some information. So let's look at exactly what they say, and let's see if it makes sense. The title to a house is the legal concept that establishes your ownership of the property and gives you certain rights. The deed is the legal document that transfers ownership of the property from the seller to the buyer. So the deed is basically saying, let's look at this image. This couple is buying the property. We don't have a picture of the seller, right? So the deed is actually going to be handed to them because they purchased the property. Now, I know it says the title is the legal concept that establishes your ownership, but once you are on title, so let's look at it this way. Who's in the class? We can use you guys. Who's in the class? Let's say that I'm selling the property to all four of you. You are all investors. Adam, Imad, Francisco, and Yolanda are all purchasing a property that I'm selling to you. You all hold title to the property. It's transferred from me to the four of you. When you hold title, because let's say as an example, you're all investors and you all have 1/4 interest. When you hold title to the property, that's the legal concept of it, right? You guys have that title, but the title will establish your ownership as Adam having 1/4, Ahmad having 1/4, Francisco having 1/4, and Yolanda having 1/4. The moment Yolanda sells her interest in the property, it removes her. She no longer has title to the property, but she sells her interest in that property. So the legal concept of it, right? She sells it to Jane Doe. Now Jane Doe holds title with Adam, Ahmad, and Francisco, all with 1/4 interest. Or Yolanda can turn around and sell it to Francisco and say, hey man, you want to buy my 1/4? He's like, all day, every day. And now he owns half of the property. The deed is going to be, there's going to be more than one deed, right? Because Adam, Imad, Francisco, Yolanda all bought the property from me. It was all deeded to them as 1/4 interest, right, of ownership. And however they want to hold title, Adam might hold title as single, sole, and separate, whereas Ahmad might hold title as a married man as his sole and separate. Francisco might hold title as a married man, and it doesn't have to be sole and separate. It could just be as a married man, meaning that if that there's something going down with the will, I don't know, and so on and so forth. Title would be associated with the way you're holding it. What if Adam had 1/2 of the interest in the property? You guys all invested. You're all friends of Adam's, and Adam's like, I really want to buy this property, and each of you is like, well, I can't really come in with 1/4, but I can come in with, you know, a percentage where maybe Ahmad, Francisco, and Yolanda all had 5% interest in the property. You each have ownership, right? You guys each own, but then it would be broken down. Title would be breaking down the ownership that each of you has in title. The deed is going to show that I'm no longer the owner. Let's see what else it says here. So the title of the house and the property associated with the house makes you the legal owner and gives you the right to sell. We talked a little bit about that. Let's see if there's any other good stuff. So what's a deed? A deed is a legal document that transfers ownership of the property from the seller to the buyer. Yeah, we got that. Both the seller and the buyer need to sign. Okay, yeah, we know that too. Those are they're just making it a little bit more complicated. Now, the question I have for you is, does that help differentiate title versus deed? Or is that more confusing? I can bring up other things too. Hold on a second. Actually, this one's probably the best. It is the legal concept, of course. Faye, what am I here for other than to just chat a lack with you guys till about 7:30? Hello. I like this too. Where is it? Wait, did I lose it? No, I didn't. Okay, right here. The deed. Okay, the deed and the here. Let's make this larger so that Kathy doesn't have to get glasses yet. The deed and the title of the home are closely related. You're like, yeah, you already said that, Kathy. I know, but there are differences. When you own a home, the deed is the physical document that proves ownership. So I sold it to you guys. I no longer own it, right? Because in the deed, it was transferred to you, the 4 of you. The title is the concept of legal ownership that the deed grants you. So you're granted the deed, and then how you hold title or how much ownership each one of you has is set so that it's titling, it's giving you that title. In the same way, if you were a monarch, and let's say let's say, okay, I've got to look in the class again. Let's say the king of California is Francisco, right? And then his subjects are Yolanda, Ahmad, and Adam, meaning that these are his first cousins or very close relatives. So he's the king, and we've got Prince Adam, Prince Ahmad, and Princess Yolanda. And in that same way, that's your title. If we were to be in a type of monarchy, the same thing goes, and that's kind of historically where this is coming from, is associated with you're holding this title, you're being given um this honorable piece of land, and you're like, given, or I paid for this thing. You know what I mean? But that's where the title comes from. It's the deed is saying you for surely own it, and now the title is not only how you're holding the property, but detailing how much of your property is how much of it is your ownership. I guess I'm not understanding how constructive notice is given by taking title if another has the deed. Oh, that is a good question, Adam. Okay, so let me ask you. Well, hold on a second. Constructive notice is the because there might be some confusion on constructive notice, because constructive notice isn't technically constructive notice it has to be more physical. You put constructive notice is given by taking title of another if another has the deed, but you're not taking title, you're taking ownership. You're moving into the property. Constructive notice, let's look it up together, okay? we'll look up the term constructive notice. Constructive notice is, I live here, you know, like the George and Anne story. Constructive notice, real estate. Look at that top search. You guys obviously know I'm looking at constructive notice is the equivalent of actual knowledge. Okay. Knowledge of its contents is conclusively presumed. That's not a good answer. There we go. Now, if you don't record it, constructive notices, a notice in real estate is notice that is given to the public via recording. If you record the deed about the interest and the rights of the property, every member of the public is expected to know about these recorded documents. But the other version of constructive notice is what? It's moving into the property. Let's look at the story with George and Anne, because I think that that would benefit you. Let's see. That's unit 4. This is unit 3. Unit 2. I think this is it. Hold on. Let's do Control F. We're going to do Anne. Nope, channel. Wrong one. It's got to be the Anne story. Is it chapter 1 that the Anne story is in of the principal's book? There we are. I found it. Okay. Let's look at this story together. But before we get there, constructive notice in the principal's book, recording a document and possession of said property. If we record it, it gives the public notice of the content, right? But possession is considered constructive notice. So let's look at the story. Example, Anne buys a property through her real estate broker, who's a real tool because that real estate broker not only never drove to the property themselves, but Anne herself never saw the property. It was sight unseen. And because it was sight unseen, when escrow closed, even though the deed was recorded, when Anne goes and tries to move into her new home and she opens the door, George is living his best life there, right? He tells her, hey, he bought the property a year ago. He didn't bother recording the deed because he moved into the property after consulting her attorney. Anne actually found out that indeed George did have ownership of the property to anyone who might inquire. And why is that? Because possession is considered constructive notice. So even though Anne recorded the deed, George moved into the property. Adam, you're asking questions that make sense. Don't be bringing logic into my class. I'm just kidding. This is one of those examples of a situation or a scenario that actually happened in real life. And there used to be a period of time in real estate when it was consumer beware. And there was a period of time in the real estate industry where it sucks to be you. You're the buyer. You should have known better. But we are in a different time now. It's 2023. And we as the agents aren't just supposed to help them walk through the legal process of these disclosures, but we are to protect them because we're the licensed agent for the state of California. We're the specialists. So we should know. So in this story with Anne, Anne's agent didn't go out and look at the property. And who you and I both know, and everybody else in the class knows as well, that our fiduciary duty as agents is to find out information about the property. If a property is listed, then there's title pulled and there's all this information. And let's say, as an example, this property comes up that it was listed last year. And we're like, wait a minute, it was listed last year. It looks like it's sold, but there's no deed. All of that information would have come up, right? But the example is really trying to press the point that we as agents are to protect our clients, and Anne was not protected by her broker. And chances are that broker's probably the one that sold it the year before and just saw her as a punk. But the reality is she could take him to court, the broker's, it's a guarantee the broker's going to lose their license because their fiduciary duty, our fiduciary duty, our due diligence is to make sure that not only our clients are protected, but do you guys recall what we need to do with our clients 5 days before escrow closes? if we haven't done it before, but of course we would have had a home inspection and a roof and a termite and all a walkthrough. Yeah, exactly. And so when you guys bring logic into the conversation, like this wouldn't happen. These kind of things did happen. They aren't happening hopefully anymore, but I would dare to say that some of the stuff is still happening where they're getting to the 11th hour and they're like, hold the phone. The appraiser never got in that building. The guy that lives there says that he owns the house and he's not letting anyone in. It's like, that should have been a red flag, bro. You know what I mean? Like we would have known about this sooner. So that's one of those hypothetical stories that just kind of throws everything into one mix and goes, see, this is a problem. But the reality is there would have been a home inspection. There would have been a roof term and a roof a roof report, right? Or or a termite, and there would have been an appraisal, and the broker would have gone to look at the property, and the property would have been listed on the multiple listing service, and who's the agent that has it listed, and why is the agent listing the property, and why is title not noticing that somebody's living there, and like there's a lot that goes into it. But in this specific scenario you had shared about constructive notice. And so I wanted to give you a very quick explanation of a story associated with constructive notice. Constructive notice is letting the neighbors know somebody's living in that house. That house has been empty this whole time. They must have bought it. Or local non-emergency police line. I think somebody's trying to film a real life version of Breaking Bad in my neighbor's house. There's no electricity, there's no water, but there's a lot of crazy smells coming out of that building, that kind of stuff. But does that help a little bit? Okay, I'm glad you understand. Oh, absolutely. But see, I hope Wednesday nights are benefiting you guys. Let's wrap it up though. Do you guys have, we've got about 3 minutes until 7:30 now. Again, I don't mind keeping you longer, but honestly, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help strike while the iron's hot. So the things you guys are thinking about we can find the balance between those. Can we go more over loans next week? Oh, heck yeah, we can go over loans all day, every day, buddy. Absolutely. Yeah, loans. We'll talk loans. I spoke with customer service because I was unable to see the pre-license practice quizzes that got resolved, but they mentioned something very interesting. I mentioned I only had until this Friday to take the principal's exam since my 7 days would be up. They said that technically I had until the end of the month, December 31st, to take the exam. I didn't even need to request an extension. I'm not sure how much time I really have left. The extra time would be great. I had a very busy week. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, customer service might be having a little bit too much of that stronger extra eggnog, if you know what I'm saying. But that being said, if they're giving you extra opportunity, then run with it. And if you call the next time on customer service and they're like, we're so sorry, we don't know who you spoke to, but we do not serve eggnog. That's got a little extra kick or whatever. I don't know who was so happy to share that information. Technically speaking, we have that window of opportunity for the 7 days. Now, customer service might have it set because this is the last, this is, this is technically the last month of the year, and they might have a more of an open door policy, which is just get the test done, bro, or whatever. So they might just go, do not give anybody only 7 days. Holidays are crazy, people are sick, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. They might be just saying, let's don't push anyone's buttons. This is a real stressful time. That kind of thing. But you know what? Just take the time, because let's be realistic. If you can't take the exam, you can't take it. And if they're like, oh man, that window of opportunity, you could say, wow, what a major misunderstanding. I was told I had till December 31st. How about this? Put me on independent study. And then that gives you a guarantee that you have 18 days to study for that specific exam. But and I want to encourage you, the worst thing that you can do is pass. And the best thing you can do is pass, because then you got to jump into the next book. And I'm working on the next book. You guys are going to be my my first pancake class with regards to that new book. And I'm a little nervous on how to get those 19 chapters done in 7 days. So I'm calculating out, we're gonna have to do a minimum of 2.5, if not 3 chapters a week hitting the ground. We should be able to do it, but I'm really trying to get it as concentrated as I possibly can. Anybody that has the practice class with me starting next week, have you received the book? Because if you haven't, I do have the digital copy, but I'm also confirming with them. I have the digital copy. Is this the digital copy that, I don't actually have the hard copy personally myself. So I'm working off the digital copy, or I should say copies, because I teach for 2 different branches of the company. It's the same book, it just has a different cover, but I actually started panicking like, oh my gosh, I have 2 books, but I don't. It's the same book, but there was a moment of I needed some eggnog. So I'm sure it's going to be okay. I want to encourage you. I'm sure it's going to be okay. I have a very strong suspicion they're just like, we're just going to let December slide. Like, let's not put any pressure on anybody. This is going to be a hard time in the year to even get people to come and attend class and the like. So, but be encouraged. It's 7:31. We will talk about loans. We can talk about loans all day, every day. Now, the loan side of it, just as a quick side note, when it comes to the loan side of things, we're going to be talking more about loans in the second book, and then the legal aspects, we'll be talking more about it as well. Meaning the practice book, we're going to be talking, or at least the old book we did. But either way, we can definitely hit the ground running with what you want to know about conforming versus well, FHA, VA, CalVet, USDA. There's all kinds of really cool loans out there that are available to your clients potentially, especially agricultural. There's some really cool stuff, but we can definitely do that. Do me a huge favor, not to put any stress or pressure on you, because if you can't do it, it's okay. We'll just look stuff up in class like we did tonight. But if there's a particular type of loan program that you'd like to know more about, or if there's a particular, like, why do people hate VA loans? Because they're more detailed and you have to do like 3 times the amount of work if you're the loan originator. But it's the meeting the need of the client and hopefully having return clientele, or having family go, oh, you help them, you can help me. Let me know not exactly, but if you want to let me know ahead of time, that'd be awesome. And if you don't want to let me know ahead of time, we'll parse through it. That's my background. The lending side is my background, so I can kind of, throwing caution to the wind, I can kind of talk to you about anything off the top of my head, but we'll also look up stuff so that I can go, okay, here's an article on that, or here's a company to check out, to give you a little bit more without you having to go through, and are you buying, or are you, because if you look up an article, sometimes it sends you to someone's advertising. They're just trying to get you as a client. You're like, no, dude, I want to read about this. I don't want to, become a client. I don't need you guys. We have Francisco. We have whomever that can help us with this, but okay. But be encouraged. Are we good? 7:33. Are we good, everyone? No news is always good news when nobody's talking in chat. So either I put you to sleep, I lulled you to sleep at 7:30 on a Wednesday night, or everyone's doing good. It's usually nothing else. Of course. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Hey, what are we here for, right? Okay, cool, cool, cool. We'll hit the ground running with loans next week. I do, however, have Ryan, and I've got like 4 students that want to come in and talk to you guys about the state exam. I might move them to January just because I think we should hit the ground running with the stuff that you guys are asking about. But you guys can just let me know over the course of the next week or so if you guys are interested, and I can have another student come in so you guys can ask them questions about the state exam, and we'll go from there. All right. Okay, yeah, those of you that I'm going to see on the 12th, cool. Those of you that I'm going to see on well, actually, I'm grading papers tonight. So those of you that are getting your papers graded, you will be hearing from me this evening. And then anybody that, and then the students that I have on the 9th and 10th, my live sessions on the 9th and 10th, and then the 12th and the 13th, or 12th and the 14th. All right. Be blessed, be encouraged, have a wonderful week. And I will see you all very soon. All right, all right. And this should be uploaded tonight. I'm going to try to get it uploaded this evening. All righty. Okay. Bye, 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 bye. Did you want to say bye to everyone? Come here. Come on. Oh, nope. She changed her mind. Okay. My dog is now a teenager, so she's having a teenage moment. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.